Last but not least, emergency response. Jad.
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, great. We have a very interesting group in this corner. Basically, we discuss the emergency response, which is the first stage of the three issues we discussed earlier. When a crisis hit an area, what we should do, and how we can track things, and how we can respond. Paul came up with an idea of three concepts to discuss. The concept number 3, which is rapid assessment, which is a traditional way for emergency. When an organization or agency reporting or try to help for emergency, we'll send the team comes up with the numbers and figures, the need, send it back to the headquarters, supply division, from the supply division goes back to the country. That's a simple way, and that comes, it doesn't happen all the time, basically because not all the conflict area are accessible by assessment team, and most of the time we saw in Gaza, nobody could do any assessment in Gaza, so we have to do everything based on figures and numbers from the WFPO and other agency or NGOs locally. The second concept was logistic situation reporting, which is by far is that we have a GPS devices, we are on the ground, we have our tools, we can communicate the way we want, we get the report to the headquarters and we'll move on to the response for emergency. The first concept, which is we saw it in Lebanon, which is a developed country with a crisis, with huge networks, phones, satellite, mobile. We don't understand why it's so strong because it's monitored by the government and by the army, so it worked very well. So that concept where the people can SMS messages, report about incident, report about needs, and report back to the NGOs and represent and take the whole. Having said that, we discussed a lot of things, actually. We went beyond what we were supposed to discuss, actually, and we came up with the good stuff, I think. One of the things we were thinking about, the first things, that to assume there is no infrastructure in the country when emergency hit. We'll assume we start from scratch. WFP used that model where they take all this out, they take all the equipment, communication equipment, and they take them with them right away. Pick them up from the airport, get to the country, set their own communication hub, and start working from there. To assume that you're not going to get any support from the government, you're not going to get any support from the local NGOs, from nobody. You're going to be on your own. That concept, it works in certain area, but it doesn't work for other countries. Myanmar was the second largest, probably, where a country locked, like a prison, where the government take everything by the airport, even harass you for anything else flashy. So mobile, sat phone, nothing you can go through the country, which make things more complicated. So that's one of the strengths, the things we need to think about when we do emergency response, like what we are tackling, and that's when it comes to the idea of preparedness, what we are prepared. Are we prepared to go to a country with no infrastructure, nothing, and can help and do our job? Can I ask you a question? I never use Mac. Interesting enough. Sorry, I'm Christopher. Yes, I am. Yes.
It's one of those new scroll touchpads.
Yes.
So,
okay. Okay, I will take your advice. Absolutely.
So 2-finger scrolling, up and down.
Oh, great! Wow. Yeah. Wow. Ooh, that's too much for me. Okay. Imagine you are in Darfur, and you have a mobile, and that's they call it Thuraya there, and or Jawal, and you shut off. You have a fancy bag, little bag, small bag called satellite phone. I don't know how many people of us use satellite phone, but satellite phone is not a fun place to, and device to use. It's complicated, and you need to have a clear sky. If you have a small tree on top of you, it will cut everything. So basically, the other things we were discussing, if we run out of all of options, we have one option, and we need to make sure that it's workable. So preparedness and teaching people how to use the devices before deploying to the field, it's very important. And so even our implementing partner, NGOs in the ground, we give them our devices, we give them our supplies to distribute it and to use our devices. They know how to use our supplies and to know how to do it and to know how to use our devices. So it's very important to have this clear when you do emergency response in an emergency situation. The biggest things we come up, I think, if the team agree with me, it's simple, clean tech we need to use. We cannot use technology which has so many elements and so many support mechanisms to work. We need a very simple mechanism. I think UNICEF has a very, very simple spreadsheet, and we use them for emergency response developed by DefInfo. They're great for gathering data. International Rescue Committee use them as a model, as an NGO. They use them very well, and they like them a lot, and they use them in the BDA. They download them in the BDA, they use them very well. They don't have to report immediately to the headquarters since the connectivity is going to be an issue, but they store as much as they can and they use the model. So the simplest, the better for us and for better for everybody and for better for the quick response. The more technology get and the more we have complication, we have so many actors in it, the more it gets complicated, and so sometimes we lose track. Coordination. I think that's one of the big issues we face. Coordination between agency and NGOs, it's a crucial issue for us. And we thought having a platform where we can coordinate our response together. Tsunami taught us a lot. Tsunami was a madness. I think the UN was, it wasn't a joke, but we were on the ground, all of us in Colombo, but we don't know where we are. UNICEF was there. I think Ms. Bellamy came the second day, our previous director. She was on the second day somewhere on the beach and screaming, and children is dying, and other NGOs around, they're doing the job, they're getting supplies. Everybody getting supplies, they don't know what to do with it, where to go with the supplies. I think we have a segment, it was almost over supplies. We have supplies for years to come. We didn't know what to do with it because there was no coordination. So coordination, platform, and response is very important. So that's something we need. We need our sponsor also. Our private sponsor. Private sponsor provide funds. We always have problem with financial issues. We will discuss, we have Google, an example for sponsor for so many projects with UNICEF and so many projects with other agencies. They have grants. We need to get these sponsors to help us to do training programs for our NGOs, for ourselves, how to be prepared to be in emergency, to get there and to do the job right and without complication. One of the things we're discussing, maybe, training programs sponsored by OCHA, WFP, UNICEF, all our actors about data communication and security issues. When you send a convoy, and Paul probably knows more than anybody else, done it in so many years, that when you send a convoy going up in North Darfur, there's a lot of obstacles. There's the climate, there's wind, there's rain, there's mud, there's Benedict. There's a lot of things that are going to stop you and harass you or something. If you don't have a clear idea where is your venue and where is your routes, you're going to have an issues.